Welcome back to another edition of Issues in Education. Mondays during the Noon Report, we spotlight the issues impacting our schools with Dr. Ralph Kerr at the Teaching and Learning Institute. Ralph, our plate is full this week, so let's jump right in. One of the big items in education these days is teacher evaluations, and changes may be coming on that front in New York. The state's largest teachers union wants those evaluations handled at the local level. This has been a big issue for years, I would say decades in the Empire State. Do you support the changes that the New York State Education Department is considering right now?
Well, actually, it depends on what they look like. I understand in one sense that tying your evaluation to student test scores can be an issue because teachers don't have any say in which students are going to be in their class. On the other hand, I'm sure that you are expected on a daily basis to prepare the news that you offer to the listeners. The people that are in sales in various organizations have quotas that they have to make. If I work in a factory, the number of widgets that I produce determines whether I have my job or not. And obviously, corporates have the bottom line, which they're always looking at. So I'm not sure what other areas teachers could be evaluated in, or at least in my opinion, who they would want to be evaluated on other than the students that are in their class.
All right, well, let's head to Pennsylvania. There was an interesting story last week. Ralph wanted to get your thoughts on a state senator by the name of Chris Dush has proposed a bill that would let student athletes opt out of high school gym class. He says, these kids are playing sports anyway, that this should satisfy the PE requirement for graduation. Do you support what Representative Dush is proposing, Ralph?
I do support that, particularly when students are playing at the varsity level. There are lots of advantages to playing team sports, teamwork, communication, time management, confidence that they have in themselves, leadership possibilities. So there are lots of benefits from playing on a team. On the other hand, there are lots of benefits from physical education as well. Mm-hmm. For some students, it might be the only exercise that they get other than lifting their phones to their ears. My concern, however, is what happens if the students, the athletes, are exempted. Do they end up going into a study hall? Are they making useful purpose of their time? Now, this bill seems to indicate that they would like them to pursue advanced placement classes, that kind of thing. And if that's the case, I certainly would support this change and hope it will happen in Pennsylvania.
All right, well, let's finally talk about the college kids, Ralph. SUNY is the largest public university system in the country, nearly 500,000 students at 64 schools. The chancellor says SUNY is going to be in debt to the tune of about $1 billion over the next decade if something isn't done. Many schools are cutting back on their degree programs. I saw lately SUNY Fredonia is doing that. What needs to be done, Ralph, to make the SUNY system solvent for the next generation?
Well, you'll recall that a few years ago, SUNY advertised that they were basically giving free tuition in certain circumstances. Yeah. If you don't receive any tuition from the students, that's really going to hurt your bottom line.
Yeah, exactly.
But the other thing is, the same as in public schools, your personnel costs are got to be 80 to 85% of your total costs. And I looked up to see what's the average salary for a SUNY professor. Hold on now, Bob. $114,000. You compare that to the average for public school teachers, which is $53,000. Wow. So it's just unbelievable when you look at it that way. And obviously, if they're going to cut some things from the budget, they're going to have to look at personnel. The problem is, being a state-run organization, what they're really going to do is tell the legislature that they need more money, which is a theme we hear all the time.
Yeah, that is a common theme these days, isn't it? More money. Hey, I'd like some more money too. But anyway, hey, we've been a lot of places, Ralph. If you have any questions about any of the topics discussed today, how will those new teacher evaluations work anyhow? Ralph, you have a wonderful website people can go to and check you out. What is that, sir?
Thank you, Bob. They can simply go to whyrun.org, whyrun.org.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.